I got a new name for the show now. The Professional Shit Stir. Big Sills, and good afternoon here, and we appreciate everybody coming aboard, as you always do. What a whale of a week we've had. Big name guests, big topics, and it was a bye week. Got the World Series tonight, Game 6. Hey, somebody, my daughter said somebody needs to do something with that guy, Vlad Guerrero Jr. I don't know, like arrest him. Maybe have Trump's, like, get his ICE guys or do something, because somebody needs to stop that guy. I mean, holy cow, man. He's on his way to winning the World Series MVP. If they close it up tonight and they win Game 6, what an upset that would be over the Dodgers. Dodgers have a $380 million payroll, and they have the sorriest bullpen in baseball. I mean, how do you spend all that money on all those great players and have a shit bullpen when you know in the playoffs you need starting pitching and a bullpen and great defense if you're going to win a World Series? How about the way the Blue Jays, too, have hit with runners in scoring position? It's been absolutely insane. Insane. I start you off with World Series tonight, Game 6, and then we go into, well, the main topic. Myles Garrett. Say it with me. Myles Garrett. Anytime you hear this, that will never, ever, ever happen. Always put to context, it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. The conversation at least will be broached whether or not they're going to move him. I'm going to talk about A.J. Brown here in a second as well. I heard Zander and John talking this morning on Birds 365. By the way, Zander will join us at 3:30, as always. Mike North, back by popular demand. He will be back with us at 4:30, and the legendary Philly Godfather, we will have him. That'll be at 5:30. We'll go over all the NFL football games as we always do, and some of the college games, which are going to be great this weekend. We will do that. Okay. You see this guy right here? Of course, an idiot like this can proclaim that, because he's an idiot. But at the end of the day, his general manager gets on the horn every single day to try to make his football team better. By the way, he tells you that he does that. You know, it's funny. The owner goes like this: we don't want to trade A.J. Brown, but we're going to do, get this. I heard Zander say this, and I started laughing when he said it. Zander, when you said this, I started laughing. We don't want to trade A.J. Brown, but we're going to do what's in the best interest of the Eagles. Okay, that's double talk. That's double talk. We don't want to trade the guy, but really, if you're dissecting that, you know what he's saying? Hey, we don't want to trade the player, but if it made our team better, we would. Every team that's good has that mentality, folks. Nobody in the NFL is untradeable. Everybody is. Everybody leaves. Peyton Manning went to a different place. Tom Brady went to a different place. Joe Montana went to a different place. Everybody in this league is tradable. Get over yourselves. I saw somebody earlier post that Jalix Hunt, he's coming. Are you fucking crazy? Go back and sit at the little kiddie table when you bring Jalix Hunt up in this conversation. Jalix Hunt will never in his entire life broach at any time in his life the level of play that Myles Garrett brings to a football team. He will never be that good. Myles Garrett at 30 will be better than anything Jalix Hunt will be in his 20s. That's a fact. That guy is, look, there are certain guys that are Jerry Rice, and there are certain guys that are Jalen Reagor. Not everybody is equal in the NFL. better players, good players, bad players. We see them on every team. You don't have a football player on your team right now, offensively or defensively, better than that player. It's not a knock. It's just how great that player is. It's not a rip. He's the best player in pro football. There's no getting around it. He's one of the top-rated guys against the run. Everything he does is exceptional. Everything he does is exceptional. Everything. And he's going to be great for the next 4 years. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You have nobody on your team. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jalen Carter will never be that good. Never be that good. Eagles landing Garrett with Carter would look like Jerome Brown and Reggie White. It would. It'd be the modern day Reggie White and Jerome Brown. Now, let me ask you something. I heard, and before we get back into if this thing is viable, because I'll give you more of a sense because I had another conversation with Alonzo Highsmith and with Dan Morgan, the general manager of the Carolina Panthers, and Alonzo Highsmith, the senior executive for the New England Patriots, who I told you works with Elliott Wolf. We'll get to you here in a minute. Yes, that's me in the picture. Very good. I'd give up AJ. He brings too much unwanted attention. What's the difference between him and Gardner Johnson? Because one plays offense and the other's expendable on defense. Okay? I'm not saying Suey's not going to be a great – Sue, he can be a great football player, but he's not going to be that. I'm not saying, Sue, he's not going to be a superstar player. You see this right here? I love using this guy here. 3 first-rounders and 10. Nobody wants Tanner McKee, guy. And nobody wants a broken-down player. Those are garbage players compared to what you're going to have to do. They would want Jalix Hunt or somebody like, I don't know you have anybody on defense. I don't know you have anybody. He wants to give me a guy who's unproven at quarterback to put him next to stupid Dylan Gabriel and a guy who breaks down more than my Hummer for Myles Garrett and 3 ones. Get the fuck out of here with that. It's a garbage selection. It's because it's a homer thought process. Hey, let me give you 2 garbage guys who break down all the time. Okay? I never fucking said that. Wrong guy, dickhead. Wrong guy. All right, I'm going to ask you something here before we get more into this Myles Garrett thing. So I'm going to take Jeffrey Lurie's opinion here, and I'm going to take his approach. Zander, you said this. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zander. By the way, guys, please hit the like button. Also, super chats go to the top here. I don't want to trade A.J. Brown, right? But I'm going to do what's best for the team. That's Jeffrey Lurie, right? He said those things, right? A.J. Brown's agent comes to him and says, A.J., here's what's in the best interest for you. What do you think if we go to the Eagles and demand a trade? This is in the best interest for you to go to New England. You get the major targets. You got a young passing quarterback. And it fits. And it's out of the NFC. Why wouldn't his agent have the same conversation with the player that the owner of the Eagles said to you guys? What's in the best interest of the player? Best interest for me is to go where a quarterback's in a pro-style offense that can get me 14 targets a game, be on a up-and-coming football team, a young quarterback, might extend my career catching footballs. Okay? How about that? Sills, we do not need. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not. Again, Sills, we don't need to send AJ, dude. Okay? That's not what I'm fucking saying. So wait a minute. You think there's one-sided conversations? Think about what he's saying here. So what? The only people that talk about what's in the best interest of the Eagles are Eagle management, and players don't have that conversation with their agent on what's in the best interest for me? Ask Milton Williams that. Wait a minute. I'm not telling you that I'm saying trade him. Are you under the impression that I've had fucking agents? Are you telling me you don't think A.J. Brown has had a conversation with his agent and asked him what's in the best interest for me? How many people believe he's had that conversation? Yes or no? How many people have had that conversation? How many people do you believe? Get this. So let's make this move right with the Browns and AJ. No, I'm not mad at you, bro. Oh, great. Phenomenal. Bring a Coca-Cola. I don't care. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm actually talking to you how it works. So here's his agent. AJ Brown's agent goes to him and says this. I'm not mad at anybody. Here's what his agent says. You know, with those 7 draft choices or 6 draft choices they get over the next 3 years, they might land on a quarterback next year in Cleveland. And you'd be the centerpiece of that football team. John thinks that those guys are a quarterback away. I think they're a boatload of players away from being a contending team in the NFC, in the AFC. Are you guys wait a minute. You think players don't talk to their agents? How did Jalen Carter not play in that Giants game? Guys, you're making more of it. I don't give a fuck what he said, really. I'm asking you guys, how do you think Jalen Carter, who made that decision for Jalen Carter against the Giants? His agent did. Drew Rosenhaus made that call. So what? Players don't talk to their agents and what's in the best interest every single day? I'm not talking to some defensive line coach and Clint Hurt. I'm talking to my agent. You mean to tell me, with a guy who posts as many times as he posts on social media, A.J. Brown hasn't talked to his agent and says, do you think it's best for me to stay here or be somewhere else? I would say if I'm his agent right now, dude, best interest is for you to stay here in Philly. Okay? Micah Parsons talked to his agent so much, he talked himself out of Dallas. Why would you think AJ's doing that? I mean, really? Oh, yeah. Hey, the owner of the Eagles is saying this. By the way, hit the like button, please. The owner of the Eagles is telling you, we don't want to trade him. We don't want to trade A.J. Brown, but we'll do what's in the best interest of the team. Okay? That's fair enough. I believe that's how he operates. You think the player doesn't talk to his agent like that too? Hey, you think it's in my best interest to stay here with a quarterback that's so inconsistent? 1 week I could get 8 targets. Next week I could get none. I've got my ring. I've got my salary. I'm not getting another. By the way, in this current offense, A.J. Brown has no chance on the planet of signing another contract near the money he's making right now. None. Do you agree with me on that? Right now, with this offense being where it is, A.J. Brown will never sign another contract with that money that he's making right now. Not fucking happening. He's not putting the numbers up for it. Bullshit. He's not even on pace to make 1,000 yards now. You're going to pay a guy who's got 800 yards $40 million? Bullshit. Bullshit. I mean, here's a guy who's got 65 catches with 890 yards. I'm going to pay him $40 million. Yeah, right. Remember, you're paid on numbers, not what you think of the player. Those guys are looking for their last deal. I mean, when his contract comes up again, he's not Philadelphia. Get this. Philadelphia in no way is paying him that money again. He's not been consistent in that offense. Bro, last year he had 1,100 yards, missed games. This year he's not even on track to have 1,000 yards. Okay, 1,000 yards at 65 catches at 32 million, 40 million? That ain't happening, Junior. So he's got to ask the question, what's in the best interest for me? I'm guaranteeing you his agent saying, dude, you get another world championship here. You get 1,100 yards. Then in the offseason, we can address this. That's what I would tell him. A.J. Brown's never going to get paid again the way he's getting paid. He'll never get paid like this. Let me take a look just to double check. Mad at people. Yeah, I don't think so. But hey, okay, knock yourself out. Let me see here. Let's see what he's on pace for here. Let's see here. A.J. Brown. So A.J. Brown's on pace right now for 62 catches and 800 yards. That guy's not making money off that fucking deal. He's finished. Still yet a lot of football to be played. Got 9 left of these things, right? Okay. He wants a gold jacket? Well, he ain't getting it here. If he wants a gold jacket, AJ's got to go somewhere else. I made the point to you guys before. You see this idiot? Julian Edelman has 3 Super Bowl rings and a Super Bowl MVP. He's going nowhere near the Hall of Fame. Doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the numbers. This guy is obsessed with trying to have AJ traded. I'm not obsessed with any of that. I don't give a shit either way. I'm talking to you on making your football team better and what makes your football team not better. I never said trade the guy right now. I'm talking about the trading deadline. I'm talking about what people would want. You guys are so fucking ridiculous if you enter McKee and Nolan Smith for a guy like Myles Garrett and draft picks that are second-round picks down between 28 and 32. Those are jokes. And for an organization that doesn't get it right, like Cleveland, they want better picks in the top 15. Since when do the Browns get any draft pick right? They got Myles Garrett right. They haven't done a bad job at other positions, but they have not gotten quarterback. Look, they drafted a guy, they let him go. They signed a guy, and he's horrible. Again, these things are all lies. He's a good player. Like I said, I think they're getting it right on other positions. Z asks you which current Eagle are Hall of Famers, and you said Mulata, Lane, and AJ, and you said they view AJ like Irvin. If he gets 2 more Super Bowls, they will. 1 won't do it. If he gets multiple Super Bowls, they'll look at his – right now he's 142nd. Bro, he's nowhere near Anquan Bolden. Anquan Bolden's got almost 14,000 receiving yards and a Super Bowl ring with the Ravens. He's not fucking anywhere near that guy. And when NFL Hall of Fame voters. Why do you think we put Hall of Fame voters on here with you? So that you can get an assessment of what they're thinking. I've heard nobody ever say that. Brown's a Hall of Famer. I mean, Iquan Bolden has superior numbers. Do you see Devontae Smith as a better wide receiver for Jalen Hurts? I don't know. Smitty could be a number one. And I don't think the Eagles think that too. What the F is wrong with people? The trade deadline is approaching, and AJ's been disgruntled. We have the most aggressive general manager in football. Of course, we're going to be talking about trades until Wednesday. Listen, I never said trade the guy. I'm talking about what it would take to trade for the guy. You guys want to put stupid people like in a trade scenario, and get to us. 3-1s might not get it done because you're the Eagles. Let me ask you this. If the Tennessee Titans offered up 3-1s, they're more valuable than the Eagle ones. Use your brains. The Eagle ones are their first rounders, but they're not that valuable compared to teams that are going to pick in the top 15. If you don't think Smitty can be number one, you're smoking crack. I don't think he can be. Not in this offense, no. By the way, okay, well, let me ask you this, Jerry. I'm smoking? Then why did you go next year and trade for a guy? He was the 11th pick in the draft. I don't remember the Cincinnati Bengals drafting Jamar Chase and going into the draft the following year and drafting another number one. Have you ever seen that before? Have you ever seen a football team draft a player almost in the top 10 picks and then turn around the following year and draft another wideout? Have you ever seen that? Or do this. Hey, let's do this. Let's sign a guy at number 10. And then the following year, they make a trade and trade a first-round pick to Tennessee to get AJ in the building. Have you ever – name me a team that's done that. I'll wait. Have you ever seen that? Obviously, the Eagles didn't think he was a number one. Why would they get and give up a number one the following year? Am I right, folks? Was that the following year? In the following draft? Right? They went and did this. They drafted, what's his name, in 21. Then they went in the offseason in 22, and they got AJ. What team does that? I don't remember any team in NFL history doing that. It's not about, oh, no, it's, get this. How do you, bro, his numbers and his play speak because the other guy's on the other side. That's why. His numbers, by the way, are on the other side. How about this? Maybe one day. Maybe. Hey, he's going to get his chance. In the next 2 years, he'll probably get his chance. Okay? You had to get a lot. Okay, here. Hey, real quick, before you go on to something, I want to show you guys something. Remember one of our bold predictions about Moro Jomo? Let me ask you something about Moro Jomo. Right now, he's got 23 hits on the quarterback. He's got 28 pressures. He's got a rating of 79.5, which is 9th amongst 128 defensive tackles. He makes $1,058,000 a year. How do you like that as replacing Milton? All I hear is people going, Moro Jomo's okay. I went back and did some work on him. Wait a minute. He's got 23 hits on the quarterback. He's 28 pressures. He's 79.5 rating. Overall, 9th in the NFL. Out of 128 defensive tackles. You take that at $1 million? Those are better numbers right now to Milton Williams. You okay with that? If you're the Eagles, that's $25 million cheaper than what you're paying or would have paid for Milton. I mean, I don't know. You're one of the top 10 defensive tackles overall rated? How about this? I know you're not seeing it with sacks, but you know what you are seeing it with? I don't know. That's a pretty good play. If you're the Eagles, you got to be. Are you good with that, folks? Are you good with that? 23 hits on the quarterback, 28 pressures, 79.5 rating, 9th in the league in defensive tackles or defensive ends. I don't know. Sounds to me like the price is right. Says, would you trade Myles if he was on the Eagles? No. The Browns are in a different situation. That's a train wreck. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, back-to-back years. Is that right? Take a look at that. Let's see here. T. Higgins. No, I wouldn't. For the record. No, I would not trade him because, again, the Browns are in a different situation. Okay? A way different situation. So T. Higgins has been in the league for 6 years. And Jamar Chase has been in the league how many years? Let's see here. He's been in the league, let's see, 5 years. So you're right. It's 2021. They got him for Burrow. Correct. They did. They got him for Burrow. And T. Higgins was the number 2. And T. Higgins is the number 2. So they went and got themselves a number 1 for Burrow. Yeah, there's another example of it. Okay? Okay, so there's an example. They didn't believe T. Higgins was a 1, so they came back and got Chase. Thank you for solidifying my point. They didn't think Higgins was a 1. They came back the next year and got Chase. Great. Says, you think Miami's going to start trading players after firing their GM today? So Chris Greer got fired. Did he get fired today? Detroit drafted a wide receiver with the second pick in 2003, and number 7 and 4, and number 10 and 5, and number 2 and 7. So they got Ahmad St. Brown was a 3rd round pick, wasn't he? Wasn't he a 3rd round pick? I didn't think he was a 1st round pick, Ahmad St. Brown. I think there's only one 1st round draft choice right now. That's a wide receiver in Detroit. Lucius, am I right? Only the kid Williamson is right? Jameson is like the only 1st rounder. There's no 1st round draft choices right now, except for the kid. I mean, Ahmad St. Brown was a 3rd round pick. Right? Ahmad 4th round? Thank you. Okay, so, hey, by the way, Moro Jomo. Not bad. Were we talking about numbers? Jefferson has more yards and was drafted a year after A.J. Brown. Not sure he's there yet for the Hall of Fame. My friend, the fastest man at 8,000 yards in pro football history is Justin Jefferson. And he's going to continue to get those numbers. He's on pace for 1,600 yards. Your guy's right now on pace for 820 yards. He's not going anywhere in that offense. Are you under the impression? Now, unless they turn it up in the second half and they start throwing the ball more and they get away from Saquon Barkley, his numbers are not going to be anywhere near it. Anyway, so let me get to now Myles Garrett here. Look, I want to make it clear. Trading AJ, I never said that. I never said it. But if you want a player like AJ Brown, you want a player like Myles Garrett, don't start talking to me about Nolan Smith or Jalix Hunt or any of that other bullshit. When you're talking to me about Trey Hendrickson, then you bring those guys into the conversation. You start talking to me about AJ Brown, I want a premium guy, dude. One of your best players. Not some dog, not some guys who are irrelevant. Those guys are irrelevant. No, Sills, I was agreeing with you. He doesn't. Okay. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Yes. Okay, yes. What would the price tag be for a guy like Myles Garrett? I think 3 picks at 28. Let's just put it there. I don't think that's out of the realm of being reasonable. 3 picks? Here. Zander said something excellent when he was talking with John about this today on Birds 365. That's right. He's a water boy compared to Garrett. Said something great to John. What would the price tag be for Jimmy Haslam to say, I can't look away from that? By the way, how do you think they got Deshaun Watson? You're not looking at the history of the Browns. You're just not looking at the history of the Browns. What did the Browns have to do? Zander, you too, man. What did the Browns have to do to convince Deshaun Watson to come to Cleveland? Remember we had that writer on, said that there's no chance in hell that Deshaun Watson is going to play in Cleveland. He said there was no way he would ever play in Cleveland. What did the Browns do? Rico, they dumped Mayfield, and what else? They gave him a fully guaranteed contract. That owner is capable of anything. Don't you agree? They gave him $230 million in guarantees. And they dumped the number 1 overall pick. Don't tell me the Browns are not. Dude, the Browns and that owner are capable of anything. We'll never trade him. Yeah, I know. And you would never give a full guaranteed contract to Deshaun Watson, and you gave and dumped Baker Mayfield at the same time. You're trying to tell me that owner is not irrational at times, the way he does business? One minute that guy could say to you, I'm never trading him. And the next minute that guy could go like, hey, remember what they were doing? Myles Garrett said, I have no intention of ever playing here. Haslam came in, I have no intention of paying him. Funny, next day, the contract was cut. Guy's making $40 million. You guys will believe fucking anything that people put out there because some people put their name around it. You don't go by people's actions at all. Look at the history. Exactly. That guy signed the craziest contract in NFL history. And you're going to try to tell me the Browns do business normally with 41 different quarterback selections since 1999? Get this. They have had 41 different quarterbacks play QB since the franchise was put back in Cleveland. They signed the worst contract in NFL history. They dumped the number one overall player taken. And you want to try to tell me that Myles Garrett's not for sale? And you want me to believe that the Cleveland Browns think rationally when it comes to football? See this guy here? Andrew Berry? He's got to save his fucking job too. How about this, Zander? Think of this. I heard John say this. Andrew doesn't want to give away. He doesn't want to give away Myles Garrett. Hey, Zander, am I right? Andrew Berry was part of that contract with Deshaun Watson. He's already made a fucked up move. You could save your job with this move. 6 or 7 ones in the next 3 years, you might be able to get a job somewhere else if you get fired for the next guy. Look, I set the next guy up. I believe Xander's right here. He's trying to live up to Howie's standards, and he can't. Joe Douglas tried it too. Got the quarterback wrong in New York. They let Joe Thomas stay and rot in Cleveland. Great point. JD3, let me ask you this. Didn't Myles play a little bit with him? If you're Myles Garrett, don't you look at your boy Joe Thomas and go, man, I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be me. I just saw my friend die in Cleveland. Think about that, Dave. They won a playoff game with Baker. Jimmy Haslam, shiny lure guy. Ooh, Deshaun? Deshaun's not coming to Cleveland. He'll never play. He was going to Atlanta, Miami, or Carolina, or the Eagles. Jimmy Haslam came in. You know what he did? He bribed him. He bribed him. You know how you bribe him? Fully guaranteed contract. Fully guaranteed. $230 million. Yours. Man, I'll play on Mars for that. I hear all this talk. Never happened. That you're dealing with an irrational owner who doesn't make right decisions. He's as fucked up as Stephen Ross, the Dolphins owner, Woody Johnson. You're dealing with people when you guys are talking too rational. You've got to think irrational when you're talking about the Browns. Remember, Sun Tzu, know your enemy. Know his strengths and weaknesses. If his strengths are in a certain situation, pull back. Adjust. I mean, Howie takes the book Sun Tzu, The Art of War, to the extreme when it comes to dealing with people like this. Right? What about the money and the cap issues they will face? Let me hook you up on something with that. Deferring money. You heard Brian Baldinger yesterday. That shit is so easy today. I'll tell you how that changed. Do you remember those Todd Gurley deals and the the linebacker, Clay Matthews Jr. Remember the Rams? They paid all that money to Todd Gurley, and they paid that money to Clay Matthews Jr. Well, when that CBA got ripped up, they ripped that shit up, and they were allowed to defer money out over an extended period of time when it came to cap hits and dead money. And it gave them also the ability to recalculate these contracts so that you can move. Shit, look what the guy you just signed, this kid Carter. Carter dumped $5 million in guarantees because he wanted out of New York. Don't get caught in the dead money, bro. And plus, Howie's shown you, just like every other GM, Howie ate 31 million. Am I right when I say this? Somebody correct me. I might be wrong. Didn't Howie eat $31 million of Carson Wentz's money when they sent his ass to Indianapolis? So you guys are saying that AJ won't be dealt. Am I right when I say this? He ate $31 million on Carson Wentz's deal when he went to Indy. Right? He's got a track record of eating cash too. Look, the Eagles are a smart organization. You're dealing with it. When Mary Jo Cabot puts that out, we have no intention of trading Myles Garrett. You know what that just did? They're telling you, smoke signal-wise, hey, teams, you better come strong or don't come at all. Right? That came from the organization. You know all the mouthpieces that the Eagles have nationally? How come nobody local covered it? She's a national person that does cover the Cleveland Browns. But she's a Hall of Fame voter, which means she's national. I mean, by the way, who was the guy that Jeffrey Lurie did that that one-on-one with? I guarantee it wasn't anybody local. Howie knew Hurts was our guy and we need someone to replace AJ. That's the hard part. I don't think so. Producing his numbers, play Moneyball. Get two guys. Why? If you think your guy's who he is, well, that means you don't think Hurts is who he is. Shit, Mahomes got rid of Tyreek Hill. They won 2 Super Bowls. You mean to tell me you can't get rid of AJ or Hurts falls to pieces? Well, then he ain't the guy. You either got to determine yourself, folks, if you think Jalen Hurts is that guy or he's not that guy, that a wide receiver. Josh Allen got better when they moved Diggs. Mahomes won 2 Super Bowls and has been to 3 in a row. You got to determine if you take AJ off that offense, that Jalen Hurts doesn't fall to shit. Well, or if you think he does, well, then he ain't the guy. If your quarterback is determined and his future's determined on whether AJ's on your team, you answered my question for the last 4 years. He ain't the guy. Pick one. Pick one. You mean to tell me you think Hurts can't live without him? Shit, I see these other guys living without people. You got to ask yourself that. Can Jalen Hurts win without AJ? He can't? Okay. All I need to know then, and I know my comments about him are true. He can't win without him. Got it. Hey, thanks, folks. Gave me another great topic. Jalen Hurts can't win without AJ. Let's ask that question. Do you think Jalen Hurts, as a quarterback on this football team, can get a team to a Super Bowl without A.J. Brown on the team? Yes or no? Yes or no? It's a great topic. Telling one, actually. Do you? Well, then what do you care if you're fucking going to trade him? If you think you can win a Super Bowl without him, what's the conversation? Okay. Okay. So you can live without him. That's what you're saying. I'll ask Zander that question at 3:30. Does he think Jalen Hurts and the Eagles can win a Super Bowl without A.J. Brown? If you dealt him. Okay. Well, we haven't. Well, we're going to find out one day here. Every year he's been here, it's resulted in 2 Super Bowl appearances. Okay? Not this year? Huh. So when would it be? When he gets older? Couple more years? I don't know. With the right players. Oh, wait. AJ, not here. Devontae, you said's the number 1. Saquon Barkley, you draft another wide receiver in April. You should be like status quo. All of you are in here saying you can win without him. I don't believe that. I don't believe you can win. I don't believe Jalen can win without him. On a consistent week-to-week basis, we're going to have to find that out one day. I don't believe that. He can there without AJ, but I'm not sure we can win without AJ. I don't believe that you can win without him. Did Kobe win without Shaq? So now you're comparing Jalen Hurts to Kobe Bryant. Not quite that talented, my friends. Sales, my take. See you, AJ. I want Garrett in a 3-peat. I don't know you have to listen. I don't know you have to put AJ in that trade. I don't know if Cleveland would even want that. My point to you was, don't start throwing Tanner McKee at me and Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith? What if you put Nolan Smith on the open market by himself? What do you think he would command? A 3rd rounder? For a guy that's hurt a lot? Maybe a 2? A low 2? Shit, Nakobe's not getting anything more than a 4th or 5th. Sills, he's really good. I didn't say he wasn't. Would you trade Davis? No. He's been my most consistent defensive tackle. Davis has actually played well. No. Actually, I think Davis has played more consistent than Carter. Carter's making bigger splash plays. Carter's like Jerome. He's a splash player. At any moment, he could destroy your game. But there's times and lapses where you see he'll take a play off. He's a little lazy in his technique. He's undisciplined. But he'll make these flash plays that will put Carson Wentz on his back, force a fumble, and a pick six. And you're like this, looking at the production chart going, holy shit, that's a great play. No, I'm not destroying my draft. Listen, Howie, look at all the, by the way, somebody do me a favor. How many picks right now does Howie Roseman have next year? Is it still, see, the Bennett thing, Fred thing? What does he have? 10 picks? Plus the comp picks? So he's got like 9, 10, 11 picks, something like that, somewhere in there. I think maybe he's got like 9. I think, right? And he'll get more. This guy's going to make and continue to improve the team rounds 2 through 7. Those first round picks, dude. Listen, Quinyon Mitchell. Remember, you got Cooper DeJean. He's really built his football team. What do you think he's had more success in? The first round or the second round in the last 5 years? He's got 10 picks, Rico. Okay. What round has Howie Roseman had the more success in? The second or the first round? I think Nolan Smith. I think he's okay. I think Jordan has been solid. Okay. That second round, he's been gold. Jalen Hurts is in the second round. So when you're okay, listen. You see this, Jeff? If you're telling me that's a tough call, it's pretty good work in the second round then, don't you think? It's pretty good work in the second round. Would you agree? If it's close? 14-19-1 without AJ. The Bomb Lang will say Hurts is better without him because he beat the Giants. I'm not really going after. I mean, it's nothing to do with Jalen. This is about improving your football team. Okay? Don't ever tell me that a guy like Myles Garrett with a incompetent owner like Jimmy Haslam is off the table. It's idiotic to think that. You know why? You're thinking reasonable. Name me one thing that Jimmy Haslam, since he's been the owner of the Browns, has done that was reasonable. I'll wait. The Odell Beckham thing was a train wreck. You got rid of Baker. You fired numerous coaches. You picked Shedeur Sanders, and the coaching staff and the general manager hate him. And you want me to try to think common and normal NFL brain cells wise that the Browns owner knows what he's doing? And that just because Mary Jo Cabot put out, there's no way we're trading him? There was no way you were trading for Deshaun Watson either. Then he guaranteed his contract. How are you not following the owner's actions? More people believe people's bullshit than ever before and not follow the paper trail. How crazy is that? I heard John, and by the way, I give John credit, man. He wasn't, and nor was Zander. They're not shutting it down either. They think it's real. And then you hear people go like this. Hey, by the way, you think if somebody came to Howie Roseman and said, Howie, I'm going to give you 3 first-round draft choices for Jalen Carter, and I'm going to send you Vita Vea. Would he do it? Probably not, maybe. Or would he? Of course he would do it. 3 first-rounders? My point there with that take is that don't tell me that if you put enough on the table, somebody's not going to budge. Everyone has a price. Do you agree, folks? Everyone has a price. You think Zander would have a price and Joe Krause on selling JAKIB? Would you have a price on selling your home? Would you have a price on selling your car? Or your favorite item? Everyone's got a price. And when you say no, you're being stupid. He hired Howie's guy. That's number one good thing he's done. And Howie's guy will convince Jimmy to not do dumb shit. Let me put this out here for you. And I got it 41-33. Listen. Howie's guy, and he's going to try to convince him not to do dumb shit. Hang on here. You know what the dumb shit is? It's keeping the guy and not getting value for the player where you need multiple places where I disagree with John. John thinks that team is a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. The Browns? Who's their running back? Judy is... the roll line is older. I mean, they're nowhere offensively. I think the coach is good. I think Kevin Stefanski's a good coach. But that team is so far away. I'm like, listen, I guess the point of my conversation today is it's not whether or not to trade AJ. It's not whether or not to think if the Myles Garrett thing is, I have it written down here. Look at this. I haven't even touched my notes again. Look at this. Again, day 2. If you think players don't talk to their agents, AJ talking to his agent, hey, you think the best interest for me to stay here? Why, the teams talk like that? You think it's in the best interest AJ's here? I guarantee you, if A.J. Brown went to Howie, I want out of here. Howie would have serious conversations with the owner. Let's see if it's in the best interest of the Eagles. Your owner told you that. Did he not? We're going to do what's in the best interest of the Eagles. The Eagles think it's not in the best interest to trade him. They're not going to. But if somebody came with a package, you know everyone has a price. You're being like, you're just not being real with yourselves. Everyone has a price tag. Everyone. Okay? Okay? Yeah. Well, Alba Malata. I'll use a line from some people. Shut up and play left tackle better. Seals, not trading 3 firsts for Garrett is like not giving up your Powerball tickets for a golden bar. Okay, I like it. Bob, I'll tell you flat out here. 3 1s? I'm not sure that's enough. You're talking about, and I agree with Baldy. There's about 15 guys in a first round that are superstar players. Nolan Smith's not a superstar player. Jordan Davis is not a superstar player. Those are good players. Quinyon Mitchell is a great player. Q was in the second. He don't count. Campbell looks like he's somebody. Half the year in. See what he does. See how it plays out. Remember something. 1 year or half a season, I tried to tell you that with Nolan Smith last year when everyone was telling me, hey, did you see what he did in the last 7 games of the year? Who fucking cares? I said it to you, man, in the preseason. He's not a 17-game NFL season guy. He'll never play 17 games. I would get this. Out of the gate, that's one of the ones I nailed in the offseason. I said that guy would never play 17 ball games. Not a chance. Not a chance. He'll never play 17 games. So when you talk about paying the guy, that guy will never play a full season. The owner has to ask a simple question. Do the Browns have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl in the next 3 years? It's a great take. Garrett's value in the next 3 years. Right. No way. That's the contract, and that's what Mikey's doing. The contract was for 4 years. Over the next 4 years, Mikey, you think the Browns are going to be in the Super Bowl? That's the question. Not whether or not you think you're close. Well, yeah, kind of. My question would be in the next 4 years, if you put Patrick Mahomes on the Browns, you would be a good team. You're not going to the Super Bowl, but you have to land on Patrick Mahomes. If you landed on Sam Darnold, you're not going. If you land on Kyler Murray, you're not going. Like, you have to land on Drake May. Look at the New England Patriots. They fumbled the whole thing with Mac Brown. They got lucky and landed on Drake May. Mac Brown's not a bad quarterback. May's better. I think Mac's done a nice job in San Francisco. It's a complete failure by New England. Mac Jones is a complete failure by the New England Patriots. But I give them credit. You know why? They went back into the draft and weren't afraid and got another quarterback. Look at here's the greatest example of this. So look at the Giants. And this is all on trading Myles Garrett. You mean to tell me the New York Giants couldn't have traded Daniel Jones to anybody? The guy's the MVP right now. I mean, he's the most valuable player. I was under the impression Brian Daboll was a great coach for Josh Allen. Josh Allen was a turnover machine in Buffalo. So in the last year and now, you mean to tell me between Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones, both the players have a combined record of 13-3? Barkley last year, what was he, 14-3? Actually, what was it? 14-3 last year. And now this year, he's 6-2. That's 20-5. And right now, he's 7-1. That's 27-6. Within the last year, you've gotten rid of Jones and Barkley and combined the records with those guys on separate teams. I'm now 27-6. You're John Mara. What are you thinking? 27-6. And you couldn't develop that? And you act like a child on the sideline when you're Brian Daboll? You're screaming at neurologist? And you want me to believe that the Browns are not trading Myles Garrett? Because they make great decisions. How does it not mean? Those smoke signals that teams send out. Like when the Eagles go like this, I'm not trading A.J. Brown. I believe, by the way, I believe the Browns and I believe the Eagles. I do. But everybody's got a price. That's what that comment is. The comment is this: I'm not trading that guy. Well, wait. Can we have a conversation? How about this? What's the one thing? Guys, I think you'll all agree with me on this. By the way, please hit the like button. I think you'll all agree with me on this. What's the one thing they're not saying? I'm not going to not take a phone call. Shut it down by doing this. We have no interest in listening to anybody. That's not what they're saying. We emphatically are not trading those players. They're not telling you we're emphatically not picking up any phone calls concerning A.J. Brown or Myles Garrett. It's lawyer language. When you hear people going, I will never pick up a phone call or have a conversation on trading that player ever. Get this. I guarantee you, in the last 5 years, some idiot has picked the phone up, called the Kansas City Chiefs, and asked about the availability of Mahomes. They have. You know why? John Lynch called the New England Patriots for Tom Brady. He told me on the air. That doesn't mean they're not going to not going to say, hey, listen, we're not dealing that. Every single guy. Joe Montana got traded to Kansas City. You know what he did that year? He put that team in the AFC Championship game. If Joe Montana could be traded, anybody can be. Biggest regret, Ed DeBartolo said to me on my program, was trading Montana. And he had an MVP in the room in Steve Young. Eddie D never wanted to get rid of him. I'm like this with Mr. DeBartolo. Two biggest mistakes he ever made was letting Charles Haley go and letting Montana go. Just how much does it cost to trade the number one defense? Well, a lot, because you have the cheapest defense in football right now. Great quarterback. Mobility, everything. Okay? I mean, no doubt. If Haslam is hedging on 3-1s, nobody said he's hedging. Then throw AJ. No. I'm not doing 3-1s and AJ. Not happening. I'm not looking to destroy my team. I'm looking to improve my team. 3-1s and AJ for Myles? You know what? I'll stick with what I got. Remember, I'm 6-2. You're fucking 2-6. I'm good. Remember, I'm in the room with everybody now in the NFL. I'm not in desperation mode. I want to get better. See, the Eagles, according to John thinks they're a quarterback away. You know what the Eagles are? They're an edge from outdistancing the league. If I were the Browns, I'd probably think about that more. If we put Myles Garrett on the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to lap the field for the next 3 years. Do you want to do that? How about this? If you were going to be the number one contending football team in the next 3 years, where you were the team to beat, and the only people that were going to beat you were you, and you sent 3-1s to Cleveland, how don't you make that deal? I'll tell you, you get that guy in your building, you get that guy with Vic, it would be a question that I would throw out whether or not you'd lose 7 games in the next 3 years. You might not lose 7 games in the regular season combined. You'd be like 15-2 every year. And if you're the Browns, I wonder how much pressure you're getting from the league and from other GMs. Don't send them to Philly. I've got a better deal in the offseason for you. Don't send them to Philly. You think the Cowboys are getting on the phone with Andrew Berry going, hey, get this. Don't you think this? Hearing all this rumor about Philly putting 3-1s up, Jerry Jones must be shitting his pants. Well, he shits his pants anyway because he's 99. But anyway, he must be sitting there going, holy shit. I mean, and they let Parsons go. Jerry going back and getting Myles Garrett at 28, and you had the younger guy and you send him to Green Bay. Shows you how incompetent it is. Jerry Jones would be changing his depends 4 times a day if that guy Myles Garrett lands in Philly. Tell you this, I wouldn't be shocked if Washington is involved in it. The chances of them moving him. How about this? The chances of them moving him is probably 20%. The chances of somebody coming in and over-offering and making them move outside the building is 100%. Let me ask you this. Do you agree? Probably 10 to 20% chance they want to move the guy. What do you think the percentages are of teams that have offered packages for Myles Garrett? 75%? 80%? If Howie Roseman's offering 3-1s, you would have to think the rest of the league is offering, correct? Lisa, how about this? Let's be conservative. Half the league? You're right. The chances of the Eagles moving AJ, 5 to 10%. How many teams have called for him? 65%? Sounds about right. What does that also do for Howie? He knows the market value for AJ. This team wants to give this. This team wants to give that. By the way, you keep taking phone calls and you find out what the value of your players are. And you find out what the value of those players are, because if they're compatible with yours, then you understand what the market is when you have to offer these guys contracts. Don't you get it? The number one thing when your agents and your GMs are talking, you know market value for players. That's why you never not take a phone call. You know the market value for Myles Garrett. By the way, the market for a team like the Tennessee Titans are 2 first-rounders. Why? Well, they're going to pick in the top 5. Those are more valued picks. Yours are going to pick from 25 down. You're not as valuable. You're 3. The Cleveland Browns, their value picks, because of what they did with Jacksonville last year for Travis Hunter, those guys have a massive amount. They already got 2. You get another one, you're going to have 3 first-round draft picks next year. Try to find your QB. Get yourself a QB, and maybe get yourself a wideout. Would I compromise? Get this, ask yourself this. Would I compromise Myles Garrett for a football team that's going nowhere for 7 first-round picks in the next 3 years? Whew. I'd have to say, yeah. And like I said about Andrew Berry, say he gets fired. He walks into his next opportunity. Hey, guess what? It's the Browns. I set him up They got 7 first-round picks over the next 3 years. I traded Garrett away, and Haslam was the one that wanted Shedeur Sanders. I didn't want him. Haslam's the one that wanted Deshaun Watson. I didn't want him. Haslam was the one that wanted to move off of Mayfield. I didn't want to do that. Remember something. You know who brought him in the building? John Dorsey. John Dorsey's the same guy that brought Patrick Mahomes to Kansas City. You think there's any coincidence to John Dorsey picking quarterback talent? It surely wasn't Andrew Berry, and it wasn't Jimmy Haslam. Baker Mayfield is considered one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now. And the other guy that's sitting number 1, Mahomes, John Dorsey picked him. And there's no coincidence that his ass is sitting in Detroit with Brad Holmes right now. How do you think Detroit's done when it comes to drafting? Good or bad? How do you think Detroit does in drafting? You got Brad Holmes and you got John Dorsey in Detroit right now. I think they're in pretty good hands. Those 2 guys together. That's why Detroit's sitting as one of the teams to win the NFC. And that's why the Browns are dog shit. Because they don't have everybody in the room. And they got a guy pretending to be for Halloween, Howie Roseman. This guy must dress up as Howie Roseman every day when he shows up to work at the Cleveland facility. Fortunately, this guy's just in a costume. He ain't that guy. Simple. You know, people all day long were texting me going, nah, they said they're not doing it. They said they're, and I'm going like, man, you're talking. Okay? I don't believe any obstacle would be whether the Eagles would pay the price. The obstacle would be whether the Browns would move him. That's totally true. That's from Zach Berman. That's exactly right. Remember something. You guys in here are talking common sense. Don't think normal. Think stupid. Like Marquise. Think dumb. I'm picking on you, and I'm kidding. Think dumb. The Browns are dumb. You're thinking with common sense. Don't think with any sense. The Browns don't have any. The Browns have had 41 quarterback changes at the position since 1999. Who in the world do you think would ever think that all of a sudden they're going to pop in and make the right decision in 2026? You have a record of incompetence. Just a complete record of incompetence. Philly, you have a record of making right decisions. You know what else you have in Philly? You have a record of a guy fucking up and moving quickly. Look at these moves he's making. He knows he shit the bed at corner. Howie Roseman trading for 2 corners inside of 3 months because he couldn't replace Slay. I'm not killing him for that. Again, you could kill him because at the beginning, all of you thought that Slay was going to be replaced. It wasn't wrong not to replace Slay because he's dog shit right now in Pittsburgh. You're not wrong to replace him. But they didn't replace him with an adequate talent. The drop-off has been too severe. The drop-off with Ajomo has not been. The drop-off with Burks has not been when he got Campbell and Dean and back in there. I think the drop-off at safety has been enormous. Safety and corner have been bad. Actually, I think the drop-off is at guard, too. I don't think Sting, get this, I think Sting's played well. I think he's a good player. He's just not the player that Becton was. Becton's not giving them anything in Los Angeles right now with the Chargers. But Becton a year ago was sensational. Sweat's a drop-off completely. Sweat's one of the biggest drop-offs. Sweat and Slay are enormous drop-offs. People, Jalen Hunt's coming. Incrementally. Like, look, I'm seeing him more. I am. I've said that on the postgame show. Hey, Dan, do you think that if Hutchinson stays healthy, he could be the next Myles Garrett? Or is that far-fetched? Where is there somebody else you would have in mind that could be the next grade one? Jared Verse. I think the kid with the Rams has a chance to be the next dude and the next guy. I think Verse. I'll tell you what, but the Rams, man. You get the Rams and Garrett, put him on the other side. Wow. Holy shit. You put Hutchinson and him together in Detroit. Detroit's got a lot of money still. They got cap space. I mean, plus Detroit, Cleveland, you're not that far away. Family doesn't have to move. Browns. Look, if Myles Garrett was on the Eagles, I would say that's not they would never trade him. Say they were a 9-8 team. I don't believe they would. You know why? They're a competent organization. They're going to fix things. They're going to be better next year. Like, I'm confident in this. If the Eagles ever had another down year where they were like 10-7, I'm very confident the following year they'd be north of 12 wins again. The Eagles are on the conveyor belt of success. You know why? They think progressively. They think with forward thinking. The Browns, they think in the now. Every single person on my network and on the air in Philly is thinking like the Browns now. That's the problem with the Browns. They're not progressive thinkers. They're not thinking of the future. They're not thinking of what they need to do to make their football team better. Shit, you know, right now, Howie Roseman's already thinking about 2028. He's thinking about 26's April draft, 27, 28. He's there. He's not here. Howie's like in a time warp. Those are the great GMs. They're in time warps. They're going out. You know why I think Howie didn't have a very good offseason here? He's thinking so far in the future that the guys who didn't pan out this year, that's a disappointment to him. He didn't do anything wrong. The player performances were, and the evaluating was wrong. Letting some of those guys go. Okay. Seals, can you ask Armando if he thinks any Dolphin players will be traded by the firing after the firing today? I think everybody's available. Tagovailoa is the new Carson Wentz. He is dog shit. Boy, I'll tell you, he is one beat up dude. One beat up dude. You know, Chris Greer, you want to hear the difference? Let me show you something here. Folks, Chris Greer, the GM of the Dolphins, hasn't had a win in 10 years. And it took him to today to fire him. Not one win in 10 years. 10 years. A decade. did not have a playoff win. You imagine Howie Roseman not having a win in Philly? In 10 days, you'd be screaming at him. 10 years, that GM. Oh, and by the way, Brian Flores was right. He was right in the end. When they wanted him to lose games, tank games, owner came to him because they wanted to get better draft picks. Flores had turned the entire organization around. They started winning. He was right. They fired him and put Mike McDaniel in, right? And he sued him because they wanted him to lose games and tank games for the draft. He says, I'm not losing anybody. He was right. It's a shitty owner and a shitty GM. They were in cahoots with one another. And what they did was they sacrificed Brian Flores as a head football coach, and they blamed him and threw him under a bus. I don't know. Looks to me like Brian Flores was right. Right? At the end, he's right. It's a shitty owner, and it's a shitty GM. Well, you got that same shit going on in Cleveland. And I'm sitting here thinking, wait. They're never trading Myles Garrett. That's not the question. The question is, are you picking phone calls up for him? And I think everybody in the league has called them about him. That's a contender. You're not calling them if you're the shitty Jets or the shitty Dolphins. You got your own mess to clean up right now. But if you're New England, if you're Kansas City, Detroit, the Rams, Washington, Philly, Dallas, probably not Dallas, because they had to give up the equity. Well, they got equity back from Green Bay. Maybe Dallas. You're calling them. In most GM's defense, Sills, most GMs ain't going to be on their current team in 2028. Fair enough. Fair enough. Look at this. Look at this right here. I haven't even used my content. I'm still on my open page. But it drives me crazy when I hear, well, they said they're not. I mean, this thing's high. Here, before we go to Zander here, tell me if you think this is true. There's a 10% to 5% chance you trade A.J. Brown, or a 10 to 5% chance that you would trade Myles Garrett. I'm going to use Zander's line, and I 100% agree with him. Everybody's got a price, bitches. Everybody's got a price. I don't care who you are. And how about this last one before you go to Z? You're right. There's a 10% to 5% chance you'll trade AJ or Garrett. Half the league, though, you would agree with me, over 50 to 60% of the league have called on both players. Yes or no? You don't hear these organizations saying, stop calling about AJ. Stop calling about Myles. They give you that Jeffrey Lurie answer. I'll never trade AJ. We don't want to trade him. Zander said it this morning. He goes like this, but we'll do what's in the best interest of the team. That's double talk. Correct amundo. Correctamundo. Happy Halloween. Andrew Berry, you know what he went as? He went as Howie's knee pads. Without further ado. Dude, I love the conversation they had today, too. By the way, I couldn't believe what I was witnessing John was actually fucking entertaining it. And he was not shutting it down. Because he knows the GM's behavior. Remember, you're not dealing with sanity in Cleveland. That owner is mental. Without further ado, we bring in our friend, Big Z, Zander Krause. And here we are, brother. How you doing?
What is up, Sills? A happy Football Friday to you. Even on a bye week, it's the greatest day in football, Big Sills. I freaking love it, my friend.
Okay, 24 hours after the fact, my little soliloquy that I went on about, hey, dude, it's the Browns.
By the way, go ahead.
You're acting like the Browns, not you. Everyone's acting like the fucking Browns have made right decisions.
Yeah,
they
right.
dumped Baker Mayfield. They gave a guy a guaranteed contract, fully guaranteed, and the guy's been a stiff. We're not talking about an organization, Zander, that does the right things.
Yeah, or a general manager for that matter. The guy's living on his reputation from working with Howie Roseman. What the hell has he done? This is the same guy who just took a quarterback 3rd round and 5th round, and he's the only quarterbacks left on his roster. He had 5 of them. Andrew Berry is not a good general manager because he worked for Howie Roseman once upon a time. That doesn't make you a good general manager at all. By the way, you missed the good part of the show this morning. I know me and John had a nice conversation. I was erupting on Zander time after John left the show. I was going back on Lil TJ. I'm calling him Twiz is now TJ. What up, TJ? So I was roasting people. This is a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
A no-brainer.
No-brainer.
You're talking about
no-brainer for both.
I think for both too, because I'm still waiting for someone to properly explain to me why this doesn't make sense for the Browns. Now, the one thing that did make some sense that Sig Lord said this morning, which was very good, is Andrew Berry holding on to Myles Garrett for personal reasons because he knows he's not going to be able to make the 7 picks anyway because he's getting his ass fired. So if you're a general manager in his shoes, do you give up Myles Garrett for picks that come down the road where you probably aren't even taking those anyway? Or do you keep the player that's going to the Hall of Fame, even if you suck? That makes sense from Andrew Berry's perspective of, I don't know. He doesn't know if he's going to be there.
Well, let me play the other side of that. Say I do get fired at the end of the year because the team right now blows out loud and because of the decisions that have been made at quarterback. Don't you walk into your next prospective job and you're talking to an owner going like this? Most people, when they get fired, leave the cupboard bare. I left the cupboard stacked full for the next guy, and I gave them the ability to make sure that they're in a great place. Cap-wise, I made sure that they're in a great place. Drafting-wise, that program is set up for success for the next 3 years. Or do you want to be this? I held on to Myles Garrett, and I sat there with Myles Garrett and did dick with the guy, and the thing has nowhere to go right now. And the only thing we did was move that pick for Jacksonville, and we got another pick last year. You're not getting another GM job. But at the end of the day, Zander, if I'm setting up the next guy, I don't know that's a bad thing. Because remember, you're dealing with shitty owners. Look at a guy in Miami. Look at Haslam. Look at Woody. Not every NFL team is fair because do you not agree? Jeffrey Lurie's the reason Howie Roseman is Howie Roseman. You think Howie Roseman would be Howie Roseman with Jimmy Haslam? I don't.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. But Jimmy, does spend money. And part of it is, just the willingness to spend money is where the general manager can take it in a better direction. And that's where I think he wouldn't do that.
He will spend money, but he doesn't hire quality assistant, general manager.
He doesn't do it. They don't make the right decisions. They make rash, bad decisions. They've continuously made bad decisions.